I'm Kat Hunt, and this is Climate Tech Roundup. I head up Earth Finance's Transition Finance and Climate Tech practice. In this series, we'll be talking about the trends, challenges, and opportunities facing climate tech today. So whether you're a climate tech innovator looking to commercialize at scale, or a corporate looking to successfully partner and integrate emerging technology into your operations, this series is for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the first episode of the Climate Tech Roundup. It's great to have you. In this episode, we're going to be unpacking the next big thing in climate tech, which we're seeing as corporate and climate tech partnerships. Corporate and climate tech partnerships have gotten a lot of attention lately, and for good reason, but they're not a silver bullet for everyone, so it's important to understand the nuances of each one and the challenges. But first, let's talk about why these partnerships are so popular. If you think about it, climate tech and emerging technologies have to raise funds. Strategics, which is now what we're calling oftentimes these corporations that function as both an investor and a customer or partner in a pilot project, are able to do all in one. So it does save quite a bit of time and resource, and there's a lot faster learning. It does take time to help educate or bring awareness to how a particular technology is going to affect a marketplace. It then takes a lot of time to figure out all the different ways that you need to be adjusting your technology to ensure that it does fit the customer's need. So you get to do this all in one place, and it's a lot faster iteration for product development. Now that we understand the opportunity, let's get into the nuances. So in short, corporations aren't built the way that traditional investment firms are or lending institutions. They don't have the due diligence platforms and all that infrastructure internally. When we think about all that goes into making investment and financing decisions, it's a lot to undertake and doesn't always move at the scale and pace of climate tech. So when we think about the operational viability that climate tech is trying to achieve, as well as the understanding of scalability, these are two really complex dimensions that corporations aren't always equipped to do very swiftly. Another thing that I see as an obstacle in a lot of climate tech and corporate partnerships is the element of change management. So in large organizations, change management being how you make new types of decisions that don't necessarily have established process is really difficult. Finding who's responsible for what is something that a lot of organizations are figuring out today and on the fly as sustainability has really become something that's shared by every department. And the way that every department measures value is really different as well. So being able to try and understand where your stakeholder sits, and just because a pilot project went well doesn't mean that there's no more mountain to climb. A lot of it is about how does this value get translated across to finance groups, to your energy departments, to your real estate groups, depending on where you sit and what kind of corporation your customer is. So as a climate tech innovator or corporate customer, how can you make these relationships less challenging? As a climate tech innovator, I think understanding the eye of the beholder, so who your corporate customer is as much as possible, is really important and will add a lot of value to the overall relationship. Also understanding what their timeline is like. When you think something is going to go a lot faster than it actually goes, it's really frustrating and disheartening, and you don't get to budget or allocate resources effectively. But understanding what the process is like, who else at this company, what departments are going to have to be brought in, and how can you better enable your contact to translate the value of your offering. From the corporate side, I think when we get back to that investor conversation or being kind of an investor in this new technology, which you're doing even if you're just spending time with a new technology to pilot it, understanding what is that risk tolerance, what are all the elements that you're really going to need to see, and what would it take to, if this pilot project goes well, to bring this to scale across the company, making sure that the climate technology that you're talking to is able to understand that operational viability that would be necessary, and that scaling timeline is something that's really difficult to really understand, and having that conversation up front is going to set expectations all the more. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in a few weeks for the next episode of Climate-Tech Roundup. In the meantime, if you want to dig in more to any of these topics, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn or send me an email at kat@earthfinance.com. Thanks.